Greetings, friends, and thanks so much for stopping by my garden. This is a tiny little orchid called a Bulbophyllum auratum. It's also known as a Cirrhopetalum auratum. The genus name of Bulbophyllum or Cirrhopetalum are really synonymous in this case. This is an orchid that grows wild in Malaysia and Thailand and that part of the world. It was discovered in the mid-1800s and registered at Kew Gardens under the name Cirrhopetalum auratum. Now the root word of auratum is aura, and you can see how the distinguishing characteristic is the flowers form in a circular pattern. And yes, each one of those projectiles is an individual orchid. You can see how tiny they are compared with my finger. Now I have this growing in a mesh basket that has a liner of coconut husk just so the potting media won't fall out. But the potting media itself is a combination that I put together. There is some bark, there's some cork, there's some charcoal to give the water a nice sweet fragrance, and a little bit of perlite just to keep some air between the roots. Now I've taken a piece of this and started another plant right over here. And this one is growing in a combination of New Zealand bark and sphagnum moss. Now, this bark is very, very tiny, and it comes from New Zealand. It's a special kind of bark that is very, very hard, and it takes several years for it to decompose. And so it lasts quite a long time, nice time for orchid roots. Now these roots, you can see, are like hairs. And so in order to keep enough moisture next to those roots, I mixed that New Zealand bark with some sphagnum moss. Now sphagnum moss holds water very, very well. So there's a nice amount of moisture next to those tiny little hair-like roots. Normally this plant grows on trees and in rainforest conditions, which we don't have here in Florida, although sometimes it does feel like a rainforest, but not today. So, this one hasn't bloomed for me yet, but I've got lots of new bulbs and lots of potential places where future blooms will take place. But right now I'm enjoying this beautiful one. Now since this is a species, no two plants really are exactly the same. Sometimes you'll find this orchid in a yellow color or white. This one is pink, and sometimes a deep magenta. Thank you for stopping by. I hope you have a lovely day.